Boston. Chicago with the lead.
Court. Batista with the catch.
Oh! LeBron James with no regard for human life. Hand down, man down.
Yeah, I can see how disrespectful he's being right now.
No, I went to Temecula and brought you some dirt.
Yeah, that's a technical.
Mama, there goes that man.
Welcome back to The Bounce, brought to you by Bite Size Sports. I am Kev, and with me, as always, is Keebler at the Knicks stop and our good friend James. James, we'll start with you, sir. I know you are on at least cloud 8, if not cloud 9, because I hear one of your favorite players is back on the court again.
He's playing. My boy, Markelle is back. He's played 5 games here. He hadn't done much. He played 30 minutes on wins last night. Had 10, 4, and 3, 5 for 8 from the field. So he's starting to ramp back up. He hadn't played since November 9th, so it's been a bit. So very pumped to finally see him back out there.
Oh, yeah. Good. So am I. I'm glad to hear it, and hopefully he'll shake that rust off and get back to being a more solid contributor. Shout out to everyone tuned in. Before we hand things over to Keebler, I see a lot of new folks in the chat. Go ahead and fire away in the comments if you'd like. If you got a question for us, if you have a comment, we'd love to hear from you. We might even pull you up on screen. Your comment, though, we're not giving you a hot mic. No, those only belong in front of the Knicks stop. Keebler, I don't know if you've got any bets handy. I know we're going to be talking about your beloved Knicks here to start things off, but what else you got?
Let's see. So I had a nice little thing. I can share the one because I feel like that's good. For a game that hasn't started yet. For good value, we can look at the Grizzlies-Timberwolves game. And I like Anthony Edwards to score more than 20. Jaren Jackson Jr. does not make 3 3-pointers. Mike Conley to have 5 assists and the Timberwolves to win, and that's plus 136, meaning you can throw down $100 to make 136. Just a nice little value play right there.
Well, value play.
I like that. Fire it away. Guys, if you're playing any bets tonight, let us know. That's another way you can get at us in the chat. But Keebler, we're going to stick with you to start things off. You made a joke pre-show about how, what was you said? Every backup point guard is tied to the Knicks right now. What's going on in the
3 minutes?
hard
5 seconds. 3 minutes. I'm sorry.
I know we're in. We're back. We made 3 minutes. You're good.
Now we're at 3 minutes. Okay.
We made it.
We're tied to every single backup point guard in the league, aka Malcolm Brogdon, Jordan Clarkson, Tyus Jones. Who else have I seen? Terry Rozier, and then a bunch of other not guards. I've seen Bruce Brown, which he just got traded. So I thought 2K was realistic in that you have to wait a certain period to like flip a player. You know what I'm saying? Like I thought. Like in 2K, it gives you a chance to you have to wait like a month in the schedule to trade a player. I thought it was like the same thing in real life, but I guess not. So Bruce Brown, DeJounte Murray, I forgot for guards that were linked to.
Oh, yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, I always thought that was weird too. I mean, it makes me feel better knowing that I always turn that off in 2K because screw that, man. You know, I'm in a franchise mode specifically to make trades, so I'm not having all that. Oh, you got to have them on your roster for 2 months before you can trade them away again. No, sir. No, thank you. So, I just realized I still got my headline from last night.
Yeah,
so
I know.
yeah, we're Star Wars nerds over here too, folks. If you didn't know. But before, shout out to John in the chat, Bite Size Vikes. We'll throw this up again. I like that one. The Passers. Okay. We like that. That will, of course, be the main course tonight. Whoops. Easy for me to say. But before we get into that, yeah, any of these Nick rumors because I've seen the Bruce Brown thing too. Of course, he's having the night of his life, it sounds like. Right before we went live, he went on a little run, but any of those players that you just mentioned, Keebler, that either you feel strongly about one way or the other? Is there anything that you're really hoping to get, or is there anybody that you're like, please, for the love of God, don't sign Gordon Hayward when he inevitably is bought out? You got anybody that you're wary of?
So it really depends on like who we're talking about, right? So DeJounte Murray, I would love. I don't know if they're going to love our offer that we're currently fielding out of Grimes, Fournier, and draft compensation. That being said, I feel like we would give up a little more for him. I'm fine with that because he's a valuable guard. Take the ball out of Brunson's hands a little bit so that way he can be more effective too. And then give DeJounte a chance to run the show, move OG to the 3. I feel like that'd be good. I feel like if we were to talk to the Raptors, I would love Bruce Brown. But on that side, if we can also get a backup point guard who might want a change of scenery, I would love Dennis Schroeder in that package as well. So Dennis Brown, just so we can fill that guard hole. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Terry Rozier, I don't know. I know he is averaging 24 and 7, but it's on the Hornets, so take that with a grain of salt. For that,
when I watched him live last year, he was the best player in the universe. So just so you know,
well,
yeah,
good.
that does have some weight. But Keebler, no, I'm with you. I've been saying it since the Kevin Love Timberwolves, the Chris Bosh Raptors. Who was it? Lamar Odom with the Clippers. Like every once in a while, there are those teams where it's like, well, yeah, on a team this bad, somebody's got to score 20 a night. It doesn't mean they're actually going to do it as part of a bigger rotation. So, yeah, I can understand being skeptical there.
The cheapest and most realistic option I see is being from the Blazers and us getting Malcolm Brogdon. And I feel like Grimes fits their timeline and Brogdon fits our timeline. The only thing I'm skeptical of is that he's injury prone. Brogdon, that being. Yeah. So I don't want to give up too much, but if we're fielding offers for an instant upgrade, it's looking like Grimes, Fournier, and a pick would probably get the deal done for Malcolm Brogdon. So that'll bolster our bench a little bit, give us that ball handler. I saw this tweet, and it was like Nick's Twitter, and it was like, oh, I don't want Malcolm Brogdon. He's too old. He's 31. If you're going to not want someone, it'd be for injuries. He's not old. He's just very injury prone. So I thought that was funny. But I feel like that's the most realistic option. I would love DeJounte Murray. But one of those two would be ideal.
I don't disagree. Well, I want to take a second before I ask James the same question to shout out Kenneth Jordan in the chat. He's hyped for the Pacers trade.
Big Pacer fan.
We will be talking about it. It's going to be our main event later on. So I didn't want these to just sit here and get stale. So Kenneth, we will have you up here, your comments here in the next segment. But James, what about you? Any of those players that you've heard rumored tied to the Knicks that you think would be just a perfect fit, or is there anybody they should absolutely stay away from?
Just like Keebler said, it depends a lot on the offer and what they're going to give up. I think Jordan Clarkson would be a lot of fun over there. Just a huge spark plug off the bench. I just don't know what it's going to take to get him, and he'd be a lot of fun. But he's not left-handed, so he doesn't fit.
Can't do that.
I was gonna mention him, but the Jazz are like 12-2 over their last 14 or some shit like that.
And
so
we know they just refuse to blow it up, just like.
And they refuse to trade with the Knicks because Danny Ainge hates us. So
correct. Brogdon's probably more realistic, but then just like you said, he's injury prone, so you just don't know. He never plays a full season. Did you? I know we're going to talk about the Pacer side of this trade, but. Remember when we talked about last year that they should have blown it up at the deadline, and instead they traded for Jakob Poeltl? Well, now they don't even have their first round pick this year because they gave it up. So
that's right. That is right.
Like they don't actually have their own. So I was thinking, I saw that today. I'm like, God, I completely forgot they screwed that up.
Yeah, when we'll talk about those picks there too when we get to that, because I wonder how valuable some of those picks were. But Yeah, as it pertains to the Knicks, I like what Keebler laid out there. I think they're a fun team to keep an eye on. They're tied to damn near everyone, like you said. So we'll keep an eye on them.
Got to make a move, right, Keebler? Don't you think they got to do? I mean, just a little something to give them just a little more extra oomph. Like Yoji was a good start, but even then, we thought there might be a second trade.
Yep.
We're talking about which team?
Knicks, your boys.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that there's not going to be a major move until the offseason. That being said, I feel like there's only two options I really want, and they kind of go against what most Knicks fans want. Everyone wants Donovan Mitchell. I don't, personally.
You did for a while, though, right? At a time.
Yeah, I did, but it's just not an ideal defensive fit. Like, you get the scoring, but like defensively, it's a nightmare when both your backcourt's going to be 6'1", with next to Brunson. So I did, but I think there's going to be two options. I think the Suns are going to be early exits, and I feel like Devin Booker with his CAA ties might try to leave. So I would love Devin Booker in the offseason to fill that like shooting guard spot. Is it realistic? I hope so, because KD's also been saying that he's unhappy at the current moment.
Oh wow, KD wants a new team.
Shock. What?
Shocker.
No way.
Obviously, if the 76ers come up short, Joel Embiid's always an option with his ties to the Knicks too. So hopefully one of those two happen. But in the short term, like for this season, we need to fill that hole that quickly left.
Yeah.
And that would be with either like Brogdon, Clarkson, Rozier, DeJounte, like anyone, because it's just like you need that backup facilitator. You can't run McBride, I don't know, like 24 minutes a night. You can't run Jalen Brunson 48 minutes a night. So you kind of need that backup, which you're a little thin at. But Malachi Flynn looked good when I saw him play. So that was fun. The evil Dante, because they both look very similar. He just looks more mad. And then maybe a backup center would be nice too. I'm hoping for like a Bismack Biyombo type of signing. But that's really about it.
That Mitchell Robinson injury hurts so bad right now.
Yeah,
from that spot
for sure. Like, I think if he can come back for us to make a playoff run, Isaiah Hartenstein, from what he's shown, is still going to start over Mitch. Because Hartenstein's been putting up like 13, 14, 15, 20 rebound games, and being one of the best defenders in the NBA, having one of the best plus minus of the new year. But if we get Mitch back, that will be huge. Is
there any chance he can be back? It was a knee injury, wasn't it?
So the Knicks applied for like a disabled player exception, and the NBA denied it because they feel like Mitchell Robinson will be back this year.
Got it.
Oh,
so okay, got it. Yep.
There we go. Well, that could be.
You're telling me there's a chance.
Good news.
And if it can come in time for the playoffs, that would be amazing.
So before we go Pacers, I got one, Kev, that just popped into my head, and I don't know the validity of it, but we talked about Dejounte Murray possibly going back to the Spurs. Did you guys see the rumor floating around that Trae Young is interested in going to the Spurs?
I saw that. I think that is a fantastic fit.
Yes, I meant to tweet that at you guys, and I forgot. I don't know how much validity to it there is. I saw it on Twitter that Trae Young would be interested, and I'm like, that is very intriguing. So hell of a score with him.
I don't know if that works. If I'm the Spurs, I want DeJounte instead of Trae Young.
The guy you traded to trade him back.
Yeah, I mean, we can't do anything about that now, I guess. Yep. Although I would also say they don't get Wemby if DeJounte stays on that team.
Because they don't end up
because he wills them to a few extra wins, and then they don't get the top pick potentially.
Yep.
I mean, none of that's set in stone with the lottery, but it's one of those things. It's like, okay, yeah, they did trade him, and it is definitely goofy, and I will laugh. I will definitely laugh if they end up trading back for him. But from what I've seen, and maybe just label me a Trae Young hater if you would like, But I think the cons outweigh the pros at this point when it comes to having him in that type of a position. And honestly, I think Trae Young might be more to Wemby's detriment than he'll do to
I'm
do
not a
anything to
huge
help him.
believer either. At the amount of scoring he provides is interesting. He's also a minus defender.
I mean, with Trae, in my opinion, you have to get Wemby someone who's going to pass him the ball, right? And also be a high-level scorer at the same time.
Yeah.
All of his teammates are jealous of him for whatever reason, and it's pretty evident because they won't throw him a lob when he's wide open. They won't throw it to him when he has a much smaller defender on him. So it's like if that's the case and that's exactly what you need, I feel like Trae Young and Wemby would be pretty dangerous because Trae leads. I don't know if he currently does. I think it's Halliburton, but I think Trae's at least like top 5 in assists in the league. He's just going to be throwing him lobs all day when he's open. So that's exactly what you need to maximize Wemby. So defensively, yeah, obviously, like Trae can't guard a traffic cone, but at the same time, when
Wemby can clean up a lot.
Exactly. So
yeah, I thought Quinn Snyder was going to fix that. Somebody told me that Quinn Snyder was going to make Trae Young play great defense.
Yeah, that's maybe he had a dream. And that's what
Where's
happened.
that guy? Call me.
Yeah, right, Kev. Let's see here. Give me some Trae Young stats. 27 a game.
Because Halliburton averages what, like 12.7 assists?
Yeah, and Trae is 10.9.
Yeah, so he's right up
He's
there.
second. He's second in the league. Yep.
Yeah, so you do have that. I mean, one of my biggest concerns with Trae Young has just always been his decision making and just his general approach.
Yeah.
And I think when you have, just like what Keebler was saying about getting Wemby the ball at the right time, yes, the assist numbers will look good, but is Trae Young going to be the guy to make the right decisions with the ball based on the matchup, based on the flow of the game? Is he the kind of point guard that has that mental clock in his head that says, you know what, the big fella hasn't touched it 4 times down, we're just going to get him the ball this time? Or is it just sort of like, yeah, he'll definitely get his assist numbers up because there will be some fast breaks, he'll get some alley-oops, it'll look good. So I just don't know. I think it would be nasty in 2K to play with those two on the same team. That'd be a lot of fun. Imagine that pick and roll. That'd be just delicious. But I'm intrigued. That's a what if scenario. I'd love to be able to peek into a crystal ball and watch those highlights. But I think for my money, I'd rather go elsewhere if I'm the Spurs.
I think so too. Deontay would be a good. Like Deontay fits better. I think we all agree there. Noob's got a question for you. Where will Levine go now that they're finally trading him?
Oh, yeah. Now, isn't that kind of funny, though? They went from he's not available, we're never going to blow it up, to now I see reports are that Bulls GMs are standing out in the corner of the highway with signs that say, we'll trade Levine for food. And it's just like they got it on a billboard saying Levine must go. Yeah, James, who was it? I feel like there were a couple of very smart ball guys that have been begging this team to trade this guy.
Didn't we say the Bulls and Raptors should blow it up last year? And now we are here, and they're going to get not near as what they could because everybody knows. I'm just saying, folks.
I mean, the returns the Raptors have been getting on their players right now has been pretty decent, I would say.
Pretty decent, but I think they could have got more had they done it last year.
Also, yeah, the Raptors and we'll get into that one with with their haul and their return. But yeah, no, that is a good point. The Raptors have done better looking at it right now than I thought they would have done, having waited it basically an entire extra season to make the moves. But the Bulls, I don't know if they're gonna have that same luck, because I know Levine is a valuable offensive asset to any team that needs some perimeter scoring that is in the playoff hunt can make a good reason for why they should trade for Levine. But he's another guy who's frequently injured and at the worst possible time. I think when I first started hearing those trade rumors was like the day or two before he got injured. So it's like, oh yeah, we're ready to trade him.
And he looked like he lost a step last year with the knee injury. Didn't look near as explosive.
So considering the haul that Siakam got, which was came down to what, three role players and Bruce Brown, and then three first round draft picks. What's the haul for Levine going to yield as well while we think about where he could go? Keebler, do you have any thoughts on that?
Probably like a bag of chips and a chopped cheese. Like, I feel like if I was a GM, right, and I was monitoring the Zach LaVine situation, I would see that the Bulls, when he got injured, were playing much better without him on the court. I don't know if anyone noticed that, but their win-loss record was instantly like better. Like playing their younger guys like Kobe White, Alex Caruso, them. I can't think of a good fit for him. In all honesty, like I don't like him with the Lakers. I'm just gonna be honest. I don't think that really moves the needle, especially because they don't have like a true playmaker.
So another guy who does all his scoring inside the arc. No, sorry, go ahead.
I really don't know. Like, if he wants to go to a contending team, you think about the contending team, like maybe the Bucks, but do they really have the assets to pull off a trade like that from someone in their own division? I don't think so.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I think maybe the Heat. Probably the Heat are
probably the Heat have been mentioned.
Would probably be the most realistic option, but at that time you have to keep Tyler Hero and probably move him to the 1.
And don't forget, Duncan Robinson isn't untouchable
now. Untouchable.
Yes, absolutely.
That words used to mean back in my day, words had definitions. They had meaning. You would dare call Duncan Robinson untouchable. And who else?
I didn't realize that bench players were untouchable. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yep.
Oh, what was the Lauri Markkanen one where they said my sources tell me that Lauri Markkanen is not untouchable, but it's going to take a team would have to offer one of their untouchables to trade him. I was like, well, that sounds like untouchable with extra steps, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's just a long way of saying he's untouchable.
Yeah, just like what? Thank you for that, guys. But no, that's a good point, man. There's not something that sticks out there. I'm like, oh, if this team just had Levine, look out.
I would say the Heat are probably the most realistic option, but then again, he's not a good defender, so
I don't think he fits that culture either.
Yeah, he's not like Heat culture. That's exactly what I was going to say. And
can he fit that?
The Celtics, they just paid Jaylen Brown $300 million to use one hand. So it's not like you can plug him in there.
I'd take Derek White over Zach LaVine. I said it.
If somehow you can move off of Klay Thompson with that, so the only thing I could really see is the Heat, and then the Warriors because they weren't able to extend Klay, and they're saying that he might want to hit free agency. I would say maybe like a Klay and something else swap for LaVine. And that's like the best. Your team gets younger, you get more athletic.
They are also potentially looking to move on from Wiggins, so that could be involved in it too if they're just going to shake things up on the wings.
So, I mean, the Warriors are one spot, and then the Heat. Those would probably be my two.
I like those a little. Yeah, the Heat do get mentioned a lot lately there because they are just kind of maybe one piece away. So there's a lot of what ifs. But what about you, James? Oh, we got one from Bite Size Vikes. We're no longer sure Levine is that much of an upgrade over Hero, especially within the context of Heat. Derek White clears. Thank you, James. What about you? Any candidates for leaving Levine?
Ooh, he's got a mega contract. Doesn't shoot it great, so it limits where he can go. Like, he doesn't fit at the Lakers because he can't shoot the ball.
Yeah,
he mentioned Golden State, which I don't hate, but again, doesn't shoot it well enough for that system. The Heat make a lot of sense.
Am I wrong, or did Levine win a 3-point contest?
He might have won a 3-point contest, but.
Like, he can shoot.
Yeah, let's go in context. He's shooting 34.9 this year, so he's not great.
No, he can't shoot as well as play, but he can definitely hold his own, I feel like.
In his career, he's 38. So he's shooting the worst he has since his first season in Chicago, so back in 2017. So he can, just not great. Lost a little bit of his explosiveness with a knee injury. what are they going to want for him is the question, Are they going to try to hold out and get something big? And that's the kicker. He costs so much, and his value's not what it was even a year ago. So I don't know, man. He would be interesting with the Heat, but like you guys said, does he fit the culture? Does he, is he going to buy in? Is he going to be, do the dirty shit they do to win games? I don't know. I don't know.
Like, he's still athletic as fuck. Like, don't get me wrong, but like not being as athletic as he was.
Yeah, like he was a freak. Like he's super athletic, but he was an instant dunker type guy, 1 foot flying off it.
Yeah, it's like a Derrick Rose all over again. At least as far as like what was there and what is there now. But yeah, I was looking at some of those shooting splits as well because I didn't realize. I was like, okay, yeah, he does consistently the last few years shoot about 6 or 7 threes a game as well. So it's not not like it's horrible, but yeah, I don't think the return is going to be good. And this is where, to go back to James's previous point, this is where the Bulls really, we're past 3 minutes. This is where they really shit the bed by not making this trade when his value was higher, because this time last year you could have gotten quite a haul, and I think there would have been a lot of different teams interested in making that move. Now, I mean, I don't think he's quite in Hayward territory. I don't see him as a buyout candidate, but I don't think, especially when you're buying radio ads so you can have a 30-second spot that says we are interested, we are selling Levine, would you like a lease on Levine?
It's not good.
Your return's not going to be great when you do that. So that'll be an interesting one for us to keep an eye on. And now, before we get into the big Pacers Raptors trade, the Pacers got mentioned here by Kenneth, and we did just talk about Gordon Hayward, so I wanted to mention this. All signs point to a buyout. Vet minimum would be my guess too. James, we'll start with you. Any ideal landing spots for Gordon Hayward?
If I don't, man, that's alive.
Right. This is the nostalgia play here.
Well, let me. I gotta go pull up his stats. I didn't even know he was around still.
Dude, he's still around.
Last time I checked, he was averaging because I always said that he was better than RJ Barrett to troll Knicks fans. I think that he's averaging 14.5, 4.7, 4.6.
That's solid bench contribution. I think there's
in 32.
Well,
minutes.
But again, 32 minutes you said? Sorry.
Yeah, on 46.8% from the field. So not terrible shooting.
He's been out since December 26th. Like, he's injury prone. I mean, he's probably your prototypical buyout. Add him on somewhere. I don't.
Miami.
Again, everything about Miami screams, can they handle the culture?
He's in a backup Jaime.
I really need Hartenstein to score 4 more points. That would be really appreciated.
I need quickly to score 3 or the FanDuel boost doesn't hit, and that's a little upsetting. I don't know, man. He's definitely worth signing somewhere if he gets bought out. I just don't know.
What about you, Keebler, before we get into the main event? Any landing spots for Hayward?
The Cavs, just to name one, I guess.
I like it.
Yeah,
thanks.
just
I love
not
it.
to opt out like I did. I opted out.
Maybe.
Just to get one, the Cavs need a small forward. I mean, Garland's been out. Mobley's been out. Once you have a fully healthy roster, I think that Hayward can either plug in at the 3 spot and go Garland, Mitchell, Hayward, Mobley, Allen, or he can provide you valuable minutes off the bench. That's really all I can think of.
I like it. I'm going to go. I like that a lot. I'm going to stay in the division and go with Kenneth. He's coming home, baby.
Oh, Jesus.
Played his college ball in Indianapolis. I don't know. This is just me playing GM with my heart. But it's main event time, folks. Of course, get your thoughts in the chat. We will be happy to answer any questions you have or share your thoughts. If you have them with us, put them up on screen. So even if you have questions outside of this big trade, we will talk about that later. But it is time. We cannot keep Kenneth waiting any longer. But we are frenemies tonight. Look out, Michael. Look out, man. Let's go, Kenneth. We got Siakam kept healed. Can trade healed for a first rounder or let it ride and see what this team can do? Pacers about to make a crazy run.
Top,
The
Kenny.
top, the tippity top, just like the Macho Man. The cream rises to the top. Ah. So I have to go last here because, well, I'm the homer, so I don't want people to be tainted by my opinion. I'm going to start with Keebler because Keebler has said that the Pacers got fleeced in this trade. So I'm going to get the details pulled up, but Keebler, we'll start with you. What are your thoughts? 3 first-round picks were exchanged. Bruce Brown, Jordan Nwora, Kira Lewis Jr. going to Toronto. I don't know what the Pelicans got. I think the Pacers got a second rounder. Oh, they just got some money. Yeah. Hell yeah. Pacers, of course, get Siakam and a second rounder. So, Keebler, tell us why my boys got fleeced.
So, basically, you don't know if Pascal's going to sign an extension, right? There was a report that came out, obviously, that was like, oh, Pascal loves the chance to play in Indianapolis. He's going to sign an extension, and we're going to work.
He's always wanted to play with Miles Turner. Yeah, all kinds of stuff like that has come out. Yep.
There's like that report, but you're giving up Bruce Brown, who you just signed to 2 years, $40 million. You trade. Who is the other player? Not Kira Lewis Jr., the guy.
Jordan Nwora.
Yeah, that doesn't really matter. 3 first-round picks for a possible rental. So you're giving up a very good role player and 3 first-round picks for a guy that you don't know if he's going to, stay. And, there's reports that are coming out where he's like, oh, he wants to sign an extension, blah, 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 blah. It seems like horse shit, in my opinion. Not to knock Indianapolis or anything, but it's not a place where I feel like Pascal Siakam's going to want to stay long term. Vegas likes the trade. It moved the Pacers from plus 7,500 to win the finals to plus 6,000. So
you're telling me there's a chance.
So there was movement, but I feel like it's a weird fit also.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like Julius Randle. He gives you that Beyblade spin move kind of thing that you don't know if it's going to be a turnover or actually work. You have Halliburton feeding the rock, but he's going to slow down your transition offense, which is essentially what you built up over the course of the offseason by trading for Obi Toppin. Obi Toppin is now playing behind another spin merchant and getting bench minutes now. So sorry, Obi. As a Knicks fan, I apologize for that for you because we know how much you did not want to play behind Randall, and now you have to play behind knockoff Randall. But I don't know. I feel like it could work, but it's going to take a lot to make it work. And that's why I feel like they got fleeced, especially giving up 3 first-round picks.
Big boy fleece. All right. Before I at the very least, I will play devil's advocate for Pacers fans before I reveal my true feelings. But, James, what are your thoughts? Keebler makes some good points there, I think.
First off, can we just acknowledge that Bruce Brown is the real loser in this whole deal in the last 6 months? He went from vital piece for the Nuggets winning the title, them wanting to keep him going, chasing the money, and then not being what the Pacers wanted, so they shipped him off to the northern Arctic freezing area up north with a loser team.
Yes. Yeah.
He is quite the real loser in this situation.
Retweet. Yeah, he caught the L on that one. Absolute W for the Pacers on the Bruce Brown. If you just look at the Bruce Brown aspect of it, or if you look at if you're a fan like me who didn't want to see any of the rookies or young players traded, you're like, oh yeah, I mean, I guess trade Bruce Brown. He's been here for 20 minutes. Yeah.
Yep. It's interesting. I understand why they did it. They're not as young as you think outside of Halliburton, Obi. And nobody's shown
TJ McConnell's not young.
Be the second all-star they're going to need. Maybe Mathurin or what's the rookie they took this year? Jarris Walker could be it in the future, but neither of them have consistently shown it.
Walker can't consistently get minutes, but
they're gonna if Siakam if he re-signs this summer, which a lot of reports saying he's going to. Then I like it a lot more. Carlisle's going to have to get real creative because he doesn't shoot it well. He's 31.7%. You're gonna be talking. I'm sure you're actually gonna. So I think Halliburton's had like 70% of their ball screens on offense, and I think you're gonna start seeing Siakam run a bunch of those because Halliburton's a much better shooter. So you could play Halliburton off ball and let him run, and you can see some inverted stuff. It gives them options. He's 4 inches taller than Bruce Brown. He's a better defender for that reason. It makes him bigger. Do I think it pushes the needle? Like, how much of the needle does it push? I was just looking at the standings here. You've got the Pacers are currently 7th at 23-17. Ahead of them is the Celtics, Bucks, 76ers, Cavs, Knicks. And John's question, in your opinion, what tier of teams in the East do you think the Pacers join with Siakam? Like, I think probably the same one I had them in to begin with. I think the Celtics, Bucks, 76ers are in their own tier, followed by Cavs, Knicks, Heat, Pacers, and maybe Magic in that second one, like maybe if they're lucky. So I think they probably push themselves more into that tier, but it's not getting them into the top 4, I don't think. Like, can they get out of the play-in? Possibly. So I don't hate it. 3 firsts is a lot, but none of them they're not going to be lottery picks.
Yep.
So from that perspective, I don't hate it. You push your chips in and you go all for it. Do I think they can win a title with Siakam? No. Do I think they got better? Yes.
Fair enough.
So
I like that. It's a fair assessment. Okay, so we're going to do 2 things here with my turn. First, Your Honor, allow me to make my defense for the Indiana Pacers. I will represent the other Kevin, Pacers Kev, Mr. Pritchard, and the other bald guy, Mr. Carlisle, in this case. I'm going to piggyback on the few things that James said. To start with those 3 first-round picks. Yes, if things go to plan now, if Siakam re-signs, yes, I think that adds some points to the Pacers' favor because otherwise this is a very hefty. It doesn't matter if they're the 20th pick in the first round. 3 first rounds for a guy you're using for 3 months is way too much for me. But the 2 things about the draft picks, like James said, they'll probably be late teens, somewhere in the middle of the first round. Secondly, the last Pacers first round pick to have a contract extension, I believe, was Miles Turner, who they drafted in 2015. So
the Stone Age.
Yeah, right. And I think the last one before that was probably Paul George. That would have been extended if he, didn't. I can't even remember how that situation played, but you get what I'm saying. It hasn't been now recently with Nemhard and Mathurin and Jarris Walker. It's like, okay, it looks good over the last couple of years. So, but generally speaking, those picks aren't, we're talking about 1 year that pick was TJ Leaf for the Pacers. So, we've seen some absolute duds in that sector as well. So that part, I guess, doesn't hurt me as much, again, if he stays. So that was what I will say to sort of play devil's advocate and make my defense for the Pacers. Now we'll get into my personal feelings because you guys probably saw this one coming. I've been saying up until I really didn't want this. This is not what I was hoping, not the move that I thought the Pacers needed to make. This doesn't move the needle for me very much at all. I honestly think they might be moving in the wrong direction here with this move. Keebler touched on this. This feels like another 2K reference here. This almost just feels like if you threw your franchise in a sim and let the computer make trades like, oh, I traded a 4-star player for a 3-star and a 2. It kind of looks good on paper, but when you look at what this Pacers team was seemingly built to do, where does Siakam fit into that? This is a team that plays with a lot of pace, Yeah, he'll make him a little bit better defensively, which is an absolute must.
He helps the
but
second unit when Halliburton's off too. There's little, when Halliburton's off the court, their offense goes from elite to just okay.
fair,
Helps
yeah,
that.
to have, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, okay, to
Helps
have that as an option. But I also agree with what Keebler was saying on, I was very high on Obi Toppin coming in, and I know maybe he hasn't set the world on fire yet, but we're not even halfway through his first season on the team.
Yeah.
There's also Jalen Smith, who just last year the Pacers went out and got, and who I still think has a lot of potential. And then there's Jarris Walker, who is that poor kid who's stuck between the JV and varsity and has to dress for both and doesn't really get minutes on either.
Yeah, he's in a bad spot.
And so I'm just sort of like, what did we need another power forward for? I would have loved to have seen us maybe go in a different route. I'm excited at the fact that the Indiana Pacers went and traded for an all NBA talent. That doesn't happen all the time. Usually what happens is, we trade for Jermaine O'Neal off of someone's bench and he becomes an all NBA talent. That's usually how we get our good players. So I'm very happy for that. I'm happy that they went out and made a move. It is going to have to change their style of play. I'll agree with what Kenneth said earlier when he talks about being able to keep Buddy Hield or maybe trade him for a first. I do like that. There remains to be some flexibility because you can move off of Hield, or maybe, as he said, you just make a run with it. But I'm going to be cautiously optimistic because I just don't want to be down on this Pacers team. But I'm kind of with you, James. I kind of just have them at the same tier that I already had them at. I think they're in that second level of Eastern Conference contenders. I think with the right matchup, they could be someone's nightmare, and they could, maybe play in an Eastern Conference final if things shake out the right way. But I don't think this is a team that's going to play in the NBA finals this year or anytime soon, unless I'm very wrong about this fit. And some of these other younger players are still allowed to grow with what's going on. So, let's see. Kenneth with another one. He says, also don't think Nembhard really fits our style. May package him with Hield, and he is a player a lot of teams would want. Yeah, that one, that one's – go ahead, Keebler.
I'm surprised the Knicks aren't tied to him, to be honest, being a good backup point guard.
Yeah, he's a solid –
tied to every single one.
Yeah, he's like who's going to be like this year's Gabe Vincent, it's going to be that trendy backup point guard everybody wants. Hopefully he doesn't have the same bad injury luck. I love Nembhard, big fan. Too ISO dominant. Yeah, that is fair. It might not be the right fit packaging him with Hield. I'd be interested to see where that goes. See, the thing that sucks about this is my heart just hurts with this one. I loved this Pacers roster from 1 to 15. Even Nwora, like Jordan, it was not a big loss in the grand scheme of things, but the dude had a 26-point quarter against the Hawks. Like even he's had his moments, and he was another one of those guys. Like I mentioned Jermaine O'Neal before, that I thought, Malcolm Brogdon when we first got him. There have been some guys we've gotten that, Brogdon got hurt, but there have been some guys that we've gotten that were bench players that it's kind of like, oh, once they got an opportunity. Aaron Naismith is a great example, where it's like, oh wow, once they get an opportunity, these guys got some game. So I was really hoping to see that from him. It hasn't really happened, but what has happened, guys? It's amazing. Justin Herbert is in the chat. What
Herbert?
up, sir? Woo!
He's back, baby.
Let's go. Welcome, sir. Hope you're getting some sleep. While we're here hanging out in the chat, what's Michael Allen got for us? I ended up with Zion, Fox, Giannis, and Luka on my 2K My Career. What? 2K? Yeah, 2K Sims are insane, all right? They don't make any kind of sense. That's the kind of trade logic we've been seeing. It's the kind of stuff you see on a Bleacher Report trade article. But yeah, anything else about this Pacers trade, guys? We can maybe talk about the Raptors side of it. I know we've already talked about Bruce Brown being leaked to the Knicks, but Keebler touched on it earlier. He said that he's all things considered, their return's been pretty good for a team that sat on their assets for a year. So Keebler, anything to add about the Raptors side of this trade?
Well, on the Pacers side, I was gonna say I don't think they're done yet. I think they're still gonna pull off another trade. I feel like it's kind of like what we did with Anunoby, to where it's like you upgrade what you need right away, and then you look closer to the deadline.
The deadline.
Yeah, closer to the deadline where you can get someone for like a little, like you give up less for a team looking to move off someone. So, that being said, when we're looking at the Raptors side, I don't think they're done yet. I think that like they're obviously giving the keys to Scotty, IQ, and RJ. Like they got younger like they wanted to do. They still have some old, like not like old players, but if they want to completely go the young direction.
Kurt Herbert coming in, just gonna drop bombs and run.
If they want to go the younger direction, I feel like moving off of Dennis Schroeder would be good, even though he's not like crazy old, but trading him to like a contender. And they know that like they're not going to be competing for anything, so it's like why hold on to like these big contracts?
Yep.
So I don't think both teams are done. I think that it helps both teams in the directions that they want to go. That's basically it. But yes, Emmanuel quickly is gone, and I almost cried.
And hey, we finally found, now that Herbert's back, he answered the question we had earlier. Levine to the Sixers. Okay, solved. We got it locked in. But he also says TJ McConnell. Matched. Don't know about that one. Bud. I love me some TJ McConnell too much. Might need him.
Seeing the Raptors go two different ways on their trades is something. They've got young players in one and picks out of the other. Just interesting dynamic. I don't know what else they could do. Keebler, you mentioned them still going out. They're intriguing, and I just don't know what they're going to do.
I do think Bruce Brown gets moved again, though. I think
Brown's
he's definitely a player that doesn't feel like he matches the rest of that timeline.
Yeah,
let's give the Knicks another Josh Hart. Am I right, guys?
Man, yeah, you guys are you're gonna win one of your playoff games like 96-80.
Someone said, "Don't give Tibbs another Josh Hart. He's just gonna play 36 minutes a night."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just gonna run full court press, play 6 guys maybe.
Yep.
You can't don't give him two Josh Harts. Yeah, that rotation's short enough as it is, man. He'll be running with 5.
It ain't gonna be Harbaugh. It's gonna be Vrabel, man. Vrabel interviewed today.
Ooh, Vrabel
to the Chargers. You want him? He's good. I promise. I love it.
Didn't Bill Belichick interview with the Falcons again?
He's going for his second interview. That one's done.
Listen, if I'm Bill Belichick, I'm asking for a $28.3 million signing bonus. Just one last jab.
Well, that's the most Bill Belichick place to go. He doesn't have a quarterback, but he'll have all these skilled players, and he won't use any of them. He'll stick with Desmond Ridder. He'll bring in maybe Mac Jones will come join him over there too.
Yeah, they're gonna bring Josh McDaniel in to call 57 different bubble screens, and then Matt Patricia will get some job that doesn't currently exist on an NFL sideline. But
he'll turn Desmond Mitter into Tom Brady.
Yeah. Oh God.
No, it's gonna be Heineke, dude. Taylor Heineke's the guy on that roster. That Belichick's gonna be like, oh yeah.
Do you see? I'm not to go on an NFL rant that Kingsbury is interviewing for the OC job for the Chicago Bears. That screams Caleb Williams.
Nate loves it, which makes my my family very upset. Not at Nate, but the idea that Caleb Williams is going to be the guy. My dad and brother are locked in that Fields should be the guy going forward.
Yeah.
And we all know, well, maybe not on this show, so I guess I'll just share. I don't think Caleb Williams is the guy. He hasn't always played well against real teams, and he completely lost me.
Kingsbury quarterback though.
When instead of going into the locker room to cry with his teammates, he jumped into the stands and sat in his mother's lap like a kindergartner and cried. I'm not a toxic masculinity guy. I think it's healthy for a man to cry. I think it's perfectly understandable for someone to cry after losing a tough game. The problem I have, though, is crying in your mother's arms when you're old enough to buy alcohol at the gas station, and doing that in front of not only all of the other players that you're supposed to lead, but, that whole stadium of people that everybody's kind of looking to you. And I'm not saying go cry in mom's arms in the locker room or something. Go find a place with a door on it and do that. But no, if you have a top 5 pick and you take that guy, I don't understand how you do it. And especially if it means you got to attach Cliff Kingsbury to him. Excuse me, guys. How well did that work the last time? The last time he got set up with a super special quarterback that was just tailor-made for him, that went really well for everybody, didn't it? Football. Anyway, Tuesdays, 9 p.m. Check us out. The 3 of us will be there. We're doing double duty till the Super Bowl. All right.
Let's go.
Necessary roughness, baby. Dusty Rhodes.
Are we getting John on tonight for some trivia?
Ooh, I didn't hear from John pre-show about any trivia, so I'm assuming not. But if he's ready, if he's still in the chat, John, you've got a few minutes to let us know here, brother. But guys, the only other trade rumor I had written down is someone we talked about with the Knicks earlier. I've seen Scary Terry Rozier linked to Miami. Keebler, any thoughts on that?
Sorry, I was chewing on a sunflower seed.
Oh, you're good. It's bad timing on my part.
What was I gonna say? I think Terry, again, it's one of those guys where he brings a lot offensively, but he brings like nothing defensively. So does he fit the Heat? Maybe, but defensively, I feel like that's just going to be terrible next to Hero if he goes to the Heat.
We talked multiple times about culture with the Heat tonight. He definitely, to me, doesn't scream Heat culture at all. That's
fair. That's what I'm saying. I feel like the Heat we mentioned it with the Knicks, but I think the Heat are right up there with them as a team that just gets anytime everyone knows it's a good team with a good coach. So anytime somebody averages more than 14 points a game, they're like, they might work in Miami. Miami needs, 20 extra points a game about. Let's figure something out. Anybody care where PJ Tucker is going to go?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Okay.
Why? He might score as many points as us.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that will about do it for us tonight, fellas. I'm going to have to get rolling here myself soon, but before we tell them where they can find us, do you guys have any other topics, any rumors, updates, anything you want to chat through?
I'm kind of just glancing through. Let's get a quick score update. It looks like your Knicks going to
the Knicks barely fucking beat the Wizards.
Knocked by the Wizards.
And Hardenstein didn't have a double, which I needed, but he did have 17 rebounds. Like I was talking about.
Brunson had 41, 8 and 8. Bagley had 20 and 11 for the Wizards. That's wild.
I wish he had 37, 8 and 10. And those 2 assists going to Isaiah Hardenstein. That'd be nice.
Right. Thunder are up 9 at half on the Jazz. Bulls beat the Raptors. Grizzlies Timberwolves just tipped off. And then Pacers Kings is the 10 o'clock game tonight.
All right. Sounds good.
Oh, my one bet's looking solid right now. I had what did I tell I told my friend to place one for me because I get paid tomorrow. I had to pull one of those.
Ooh, there's a number. There's a hotline you can call.
Yeah, there is a hotline for that. But aside from that, where is it? Let me see. I told him Shea for 31.5, and Shea's at 16, so he's on perfect pace for that.
Right on pace, yeah.
I took Chet over 17.5. He's at 12. Laurie for 6 rebounds. There's either 6 or 8. Wait, why do you put it twice? Whatever. I told Laurie for 8, but he only has 1 rebound. Yep, so I'm fucked. Great.
Guy like him can get a lot of rebounds quick, though, which is nice,
I sure hope so. But yeah, so thank you, Lori Markkinen. I appreciate it.
Your legacy is intact. Well, guys, we'll keep it with you there, brother. Where can the good folks at home find you when you're not hanging out with us?
Luckily, I put it right in the tag today.
Oh, made it easy. X and IG, boys.
Got the
Love
IG
that.
back up and going today. Made my first post in a while.
Oh, okay. We'll have to give you a follow over on Bite Size Sports on Instagram. And for those of you listening to the audio, because I am doing my diligence. I'm going to get the audio feeds updated again. That is at the Nick Stop is where you can find Keebler on X and Instagram. James, what about you? Where can the folks find you, good sir?
Twitter, right there. You can catch us here every Thursday at 9 p.m. Then you catch me and Kev every Wednesday at 9 p.m. talking nerd stuff, talking Star Wars over on our sister station, Dweeb. Shout out to all the people that came along for the ride last night. That was a wild one. Very fun. Tuesdays, you can catch me and Keeb on Necessary Roughness talking NFL. I'm guest hosting during the NFL playoffs here. And that is pretty much it right now. I still refuse to talk about the Titans. They're a poverty franchise, and I'm not posting anything about them.
Oh, I know how that feels. I am well overdue for a Pacers podcast on Bite Size Sports, but we'll have that coming. Make sure you like and subscribe this stream, and so you'll be notified of every time we have a new live stream or a new video, new short, any of that. You can also find me on Tuesdays and Sunday nights from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on the Clout Route. And Monday nights, although they will soon be moving, but for now, Monday nights, you can find me on Bite Size Sports as well as Carnage Media for Carnage Unleashed, talking all things boxing, kickboxing, mixed martial arts, and Black Swamp Productions. I am doing my first ever indoor soccer commentary gig, guys. Major League of Indoor Soccer, the Ohio Extreme, their home opener, their new franchise. So I'm very excited. I've been memorizing soccer player names for the last 2 days. So you can find that over on the Ohio Extreme's website. So find us on Bite Size Sports Twitter or me at KevNevick_ to get the link there. But other than that, you can find me right here some days a week on Bite Size Sports. I think we covered them all. But thank you to everyone in our chat today. Michael, shout out to you. I know we are frenemies. You know, I forgot I was going to mention our beloved Domantas Sabonis when I was talking about why Pascal Siakam may not work next to Miles Turner. But I've made that point before when I was saying they shouldn't make this trade in the first place. But shout out to Kenneth Jordan as well. Appreciate you, sir. Glad there was someone here wanting Pacers content because I am more than happy to oblige. Justin Herbert, welcome back, brother. We are very happy to see you. We know you've been busy, man. Just really, really love having you in here, even if it's just for a few minutes. So thank you, sir. Bite Size Vikes. We mentioned Michael Allen. Nate getting in here. His shit talking towards your Knicks did not pan out, Keebler, but don't worry, we have the receipts. We got them right here. So there you go.
When you play Evan Fournier and give him minutes, that's kind of what happens. So we snuck one out, thankfully.
Yeah, I turned in my Evan Fournier apologist card a while ago. So, yeah, I got to agree with you there. Well, we won't quite hit the full hour mark tonight, folks, but we do appreciate you. We will be back next week. And if you would like to save a little change on some jitterless energy, we've got an ad queued up for you right now. So please stay tuned for a word from our sponsor. But thank you all again so much. We will see you next time on Bite Size Sports. Are you looking for an energy boost without the jitters? Let our friends at Dubby Energy help you with their fantastic selection of flavors. Just visit www.dubby.gg and use the code BITESIZESPORTS at checkout for 10% off your order total. Again, that is www.dubby.gg. bby.gg. Code Bite Size Sports.